Welcome to Greater Good Radio Hawaii, where leaders inspire leaders. Greater Good Radio Hawaii is dedicated to social entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Evan Leong, and with me is my co-host, Carrie Leong.
Mahalo, Evan. Today's guest is Mitch D'Olier, President and CEO of Kaneohe Ranch Company and President and CEO of the Harold K.L. Castle Foundation. Mitch is the man responsible for the revitalization of Victoria Ward and sale to General Growth Properties for $250 million. Today, Mitch shares with us how his company is able to award grants to nonprofit organizations at an average of $7 million per year. Please welcome to Greater Good Radio, Mitch D'Olier. Welcome to our show, Mitch.
Thanks, Carrie.
Are you able to tell us more about the Kaneohe Ranch?
You know, I'd be happy to do that. Kaneohe Ranch Company is a family business that started with the second generation of the Castle family in Hawaii. The Castle and Cook story is pretty well known in the community. That was missionary Samuel Northrop Castle, who had, I believe, 11 children. His son, James Bicknell Castle, was a wild entrepreneurial guy who did a great number of things on Windward Oahu and otherwise. To give you an idea about the entrepreneurial nature of him, in the late 1800s, he was trying to build a railway from Kahuku to Waimanalo that would drill through the mountains and connect up with HRT in Manoa. So Kahuku to Waimanalo to Manoa on the train, connecting up with then mass transit then, tells me we've been thinking about mass transit on Oahu for a long period of time. At any rate, James Bicknell Castle was a very entrepreneurial and well-read man. He and his wife had one son, Harold K.L. Castle, and James Bicknell and Harold Castle bought Kaneohe Ranch Company and other agricultural interests in the early 1900s. And Harold Castle, then after his father's death, continued on with the company, had the vision for a residential community that's now Kailua and part of Kaneohe, and at his death was a philanthropist of considerable renown, forming the Harold K.L. Castle Foundation, which is today, I believe, the largest private foundation based in Hawaii.
How did you end up working with Kaneohe Ranch?
Yes, I thought I'd retired after I finished at Ward, and I was looking for what I was going to do. I was approached by a member of the Castle family asking me would I consider coming to work for them, and at the same time as running the family business, I'd have an opportunity to lead and direct the foundation. That was an opportunity to give back to a community that was too big for me to pass up, and it was really the combination of all that kept me going.
So the Kaneohe Ranch and Castle Foundation is kind of a culmination of your experience from other ventures that you were successful at.
You know, that's an interesting way to say it. All of it ties back to my law career. I represented Kaneohe Ranch Company. I represented the foundation back when I practiced law. When I was at Victoria Ward, a Castle family member died, and I was asked to become a director of the Harold Castle Foundation. So since the mid-'90s, I was involved in trying to do my best to help grant making at the Harold Castle Foundation. So I had that contact while I was at Ward.
So it's kind of full circle, everything came about. You represent him as an attorney and then eventually run the whole thing.
Well, that was true at Kaneohe Ranch. That was true at Victoria Ward, even though I represented the principal shareholder. I didn't really represent the company. I represented Mrs. Woodhouse. And it was also true at Hawaiian Airlines, where I was outside counsel to the company before I went to work there.
Okay. Did you ever think that as an attorney you would leave the practice?
Never looked at this part of my career. This was a part of my life that was not planned. It was a part of my life that happened.
How did that come about then? I mean, how do you go from a law career and you're practicing for how long?
I practiced law for 19 and a half years with Goodsell, Anderson, Quinn, and Stifel.
And then what made you make that switch? What made you make the change?
Opportunity. If my wife, Bambi, were here, she'd say midlife crisis and, you know, better than a new wife or a new girlfriend or a fancy sports car, just change job. In part, Hawaiian Airlines was in difficult times at the time. I had a belief in something that was important to me about that. I thought that transportation between these islands and places outside these islands needed to be managed from here rather than managed from Elk Grove Village, Illinois, or Dallas, Texas, or Atlanta. I thought we needed to control our own destiny because we were so remote. And if we didn't, we were going to be at a lot of whims that probably wouldn't be good for this community. So I had a belief in the idea behind the airline. A group from the mainland had acquired the airline, Peter Ubroth, Tom Talbot, and an investor group. They approached me after they'd had it for a while and wanted me to come in as chief operating officer. When I asked the question you asked, they said knowledge of this community, long-time history with the airline. I'd been involved in representing the airline, and I knew its financial side since about 1976 is when I started doing Hawaiian Airlines work, went to work for them in 1991. And it was an opportunity, and then I said, well, I'm a lawyer guy. What do I know about all this stuff? And they said, well, the things you don't know about will teach you. And so it was an opportunity to learn from a group of people that I respected, particularly Peter, his brother John, George Arduous, Dick Ferris. There was a board around Hawaiian Airlines at the time, Kenny Brown, Peter Baldwin, Marty Anderson. There was a board that I respected. I thought I could learn from them, and I hoped I could make a difference. It was dire financial times in what was probably not a business then, and you could argue whether the airline business for anyone is a business today.
So Hawaiian Airlines was your first CEO and president position?
Well, it wasn't CEO. It was COO.
Oh,
I was president and chief operating officer. John Ubroth was employee chairman and CEO. So in a sense, we were partners in that adventure.
How did you deal with that transition then? Because even at Goodsell Anderson, it's a decent-sized law firm, but you move into chief operating officer of Hawaiian Airlines, and now you're talking about thousands of employees.
You're right, and it was a leadership and communication job.
And you're also dealing with the union, right?
It was my first experience dealing in an organized environment. That's right.
Did it feel foreign to you going into that situation?
In some cases, yes, and in some cases, no. But the financial situation was such that I didn't really have time to think about that. I had time to think about what do we need to do next, and almost any job involves a whole lot of things that need to be done. And one of my beliefs is the order in which you do the things you're going to do will determine your success or failure. So it's a matter of looking at everything that's out there, trying to prioritize and go.
Okay, so how do you actually do that? Can you give us an example?
I'll give you an example from my perspective only. The biggest problem I thought Hawaiian Airlines had perception-wise, obviously there's a revenue problem. But people in the community didn't believe in the product. It was unreliable, and we were seen as a carrier that wasn't Hawaiian. And I was shocked when I went to work for Hawaiian Airlines and I met the employees. Because with all due deference to a lot of good friends at Aloha, the Hawaiian Airlines employees were as Hawaiian as the Aloha Airlines employees, or maybe more Hawaiian. And I realized that, even I hadn't understood who the employees were. And I was meeting I was trying to meet as many employees as I could because I was trying to get at what are the roots of the operational problem and what do we need to do to change what we're doing. And so we did a number of things focusing on reliability, setting standards for reliability, ran a marketing program where we guaranteed on-time performance. You're going to get a coupon. I remember meetings when we started that, people saying, boss, we're going to go broke. Everybody's going to get a coupon. We can't do this. And I was pretty sure we could do that, but we had to commit to it. And we ran a series of marketing programs that involved the employees in the marketing. I remember one day there was an employee on the ramp, and he was a good-looking young man. We put his ad in the paper, and all of a sudden, everywhere throughout all the offices of Hawaiian Airlines, his picture was up. And we connected the product with the people of Hawaiian Airlines. And the people of Hawaiian Airlines realized they were the product, and they became proud of it and started playing like a team.
What was the most challenging thing about going into that kind of situation?
Most challenging things was the desperate financial condition we were in. we had a negative net worth of about $252 million, $20 million in the bank, and we're losing $50,000 a day in cash. You could count your way to the end. So the pressure was more enormous than I realized it was going to be. It was one thing to intellectually sit on the outside and know that there was this big financial problem. It was another something else entirely to make it your problem. But I thought a team of hardworking, good-hearted people could try to figure out a way to work your way out of it.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.